Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel. I wanted to do a quick video talking about the Atlanta Record Show that took place on this last Sunday, which would have been August 29th. This is actually the first record show that I've been to here. It wasn't something I planned on going to, and then I saw on one of the local Facebook groups a couple people posting some of the stuff that they were going to have, and a couple of the things that they posted were stuff that I really wanted. Unfortunately, the record show, it wasn't that good. I did end up getting a couple of really good deals, but they took a lot of digging and a lot of haggling. The two records that I went there for specifically were a little bit overpriced for mint condition records for those two specific records. However, that wasn't the issue. I probably could have talked them down a little bit. The issue was the condition was horrible. One of them was listed as near mint minus the vinyl, and it was covered in scratches. And I think what happened on that one, because I listed the jacket as VG plus and the vinyl is near mint minus, I think they reversed those by accident when they were putting the price tag and the label on them. However, in addition to that, they also, it wasn't even VG plus. I would say with all the scratches that were on the record, it was basically a VG. And then there was one other that I saw them post, and they didn't post the prices. They just posted what they were going to have. There was one other that this specific booth posted on Facebook, and it was like 50 or 60 bucks over what I could get it for sealed on Discogs, which was crazy. So pricing was definitely an issue at the record show. There really wasn't a lot of really good, really sought after records. Overall, I was really disappointed with what was there. Like I said, all the stuff I got was cool, but honestly, it's all stuff that I could have easily found on Discogs, with the exception of maybe one, for around the same price. I probably got a good deal because of shipping. However, I could have found all of these. I remember, and I know record shows have basically turned into just kind of cesspools, but I remember guys going to record shows and getting a lot of really nice original Metallica, Megadeth pressings. And I expected to see that stuff. I didn't expect it to be the great prices that they were a few years ago. I didn't see any of that. The only Metallica original pressing I saw was, man, did I see any? I saw And Justice for All. Like 3 different booths had original pressings of And Justice for All, and they were all like 150 bucks. And you can still get those for right around 100 bucks in mint condition. What else did I see? I saw a couple of Megadeths, but they weren't in good condition. What else? There really wasn't a whole lot. Overall, I was really, really disappointed. There were some cool Japanese pressings. Most of them were really overpriced, and even haggling them down wouldn't have got to a price that I was okay with. There were a couple of, there were some good 80s albums, or 80s original pressings. Too many bootlegs. I would say a good 20% of every booth was bootlegs or counterfeits. It's kind of sad that that's what the record market's turning into. There's a lot of local stores here that aren't getting collections in. They're not really looking for them, to be perfectly honest, 'cause there's a lot of collections out there to buy. I know guys that are finding killer collections and constantly have fresh stuff in their inboxes. A lot of these stores don't even try, though. They're just going straight to the bootleg market. And that's the only thing you see in their inboxes. And not just that, they're jacking up the prices. A lot of this stuff that you can get for 20, 25 bucks, 30 bucks, they're putting for like 50, 60 bucks for bootlegs. And the ridiculous thing is, a lot of those albums you can get for 60, 80 bucks an original pressing. I mean, it's insane what's going on. The other issue I had with the record store is half the stuff there was new. And it wasn't like hard to find stuff. It was stuff that I could walk into any record store and find. And for the same prices. The Walmart stuff, the Walmart Metallicas that you can still find on Walmart.com for like 50 bucks. I mean, it was stupid. I did find a few things. I was there for a few hours, and I went through a number of the booths a few times trying to find something. I did meet some cool people. I finally met Nate Bouchard, so it was really cool seeing you, Nate. He's been a part of the VC for years, so it was cool seeing him at one of the booths. There were a few people that walked up to me that I didn't know that were fans of the channel, so that was cool. So if you guys are watching, it was cool meeting you. I actually feel bad because I wasn't in the mood to be there to start with. I did not sleep. I don't remember what happened on Saturday night, but I didn't get any sleep. I think I fell asleep at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I woke up at 8 or 9 to go to the record show because it started at 10. And I wanted to be there, right when it opened or a little bit after so that I could get a couple of those albums I really wanted, which, of course, I didn't get. So the first one that I grabbed, this is the first thing I grabbed. They had this marked at 25 bucks. I think I got it for 15. This is a Dutch pressing of Balls to the Wall from Accept. So when I did my big purge last year, I got rid of over 1,000 records that just weren't in great condition. This was one of them. I had my copy for probably close to 10 years. It was used when I got it, and I played the shit. I love this album. So I've been looking for a really clean copy, and this one is a really clean copy on Lark Records. So I was really happy to grab this one. So yeah, they had it marked at 25 bucks. And that's one thing I will say, a couple of them, I got all of these for under what they asked. And one of them I got way under what they asked. And that's the one that I expected to pay more for. And I'll get to that. The next one, this is one of the Motorheads that I have been looking for. This is the white vinyl pressing. This is 1916. I love this album. And this is one of those where it was like an R&B booth for the most part. And I was flipping through. I think I walked by and I saw a couple things pop up as somebody was flipping through. So I flipped through and I ran across this, and I was shocked to run across this. I think I got this one for 35 bucks. Next up, this one was really cool. I've wanted a pressing of this for a long time. I had a really beat up pressing that I got rid of. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have the Obi, but it's got everything else. But this is the Japanese pressing of Praying Mantis. Time Tells No Lies. Fantastic album. I've always loved this album, and really cool to finally have a really nice pressing on vinyl. I don't think I've ever seen anything but Japanese pressings of that, and they usually go for quite a bit. And they had this one marked at 50, and I think I got this one for 35. Next up, this is the one that I really expected to pay for. And he actually screwed himself because I was going to offer him much more than what he threw out to me. So he had this marked at $79.99. I wanted this as soon as I saw it. I love this. I love this band. But this is the Nautilus Super Disc Cornerstone from Styx. It's a sealed copy. It looks to be in great condition. No splits. It doesn't look to be warped. It's a nice thing about Nautilus and MoFi and all the other audiophile companies. They pack them in these loose sleeves. But every time I see this, it's pretty beat up, and they're like 50 bucks. He had it marked for $79.99. I was about to offer him 60 when he saw me looking at it, and he said, "I'll give it to you for 45." Or maybe I either paid 45 or 50. But I was going to offer 60 for it and work up from there. And I got it for, now that I think it was 50 bucks that I paid for this. But if you're not familiar with the Nautilus, Nautilus was around in the early 80s, I believe into the 90s. But they were one of the early audiophile companies, a competitor to Mobile Fidelity. And I've got, I gifted it to John, SMF Captain Howdy, but I had a Nautilus test pressing of the Cars debut. And I've had a couple, I have a couple other Nautilus albums as well. But super stoked to have this one. Next up, Power Mad. They have this one marked at 30. I paid 20 for it just because it's in excellent condition. It's a gold stamp promo, but this is the Madness Begins. Absolutely love Power Mad. I have a copy of this. It's not in nearly as good a condition. This is one of those albums that just every time I see it, it's beat up. I mean, it's just one of those albums that everybody loves. If you haven't checked out Power Mad, just killer thrash, killer band. And these are the last two that I got at the last booth. These were both new albums. He didn't have any of the prices marked, so I wasn't sure what I was going to get. This is the Real Gone Music, right? Yeah, Real Gone Music pressing of Samson, Shock Tactics. I'm not a huge Samson fan as much as I love Bruce Dickinson. And was he even on this one? Yeah, so Bruce Dickinson was on this one. I don't like most of the Samson albums. This one I do really like. I do have an original pressing of this, but it's not, I mean, it's pretty well played. And so this is one that I wanted to buy from Real Gone Music, and I forgot about it, and it's sold out. This guy had a whole box just full of stuff from Real Gone Music. What actually annoyed me is I have some stuff that I pre-ordered like 5 or 6 months ago from Real Gone Music, and he had like 5 or 6 pressings of each of those, and I haven't got my pre-order yet. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but regardless, I ended up paying 20 bucks. I think these were 22 brand new, so right around the price. And then this one I actually got for quite a bit cheaper. This is Witherfall. Kind of a mix with this band, and I've heard they call it dark melodic metal. I'm trying to think. I've got one of their other albums, and I really dug it. It was one of the guys from the VC that turned me on to this band. I'll talk about it more once I spin this a couple times. But this is from last year. Well, it says 2021 on the front and 2020 on the back. So I don't know. But Metal Sucks most anticipated release of 2021. But this one goes for like 35 bucks brand new. And I think I paid 25 for this. So a couple of good deals. And that was it. There just wasn't much good stuff. Like I said, there were some Thin Lizzy Japanese pressings that were interesting. But they were way overpriced and the guy didn't want to come down on them. What else was there? There were a few other Japanese pressings I tried to get. And then, like I said, there was one booth that had quite a bit of really good stuff, but it was all either super overpriced or it was just not in very good condition. Actually, the booth next to him was the same way. They had some good stuff, but it was just beat up. Overall, like I said, they got some cool stuff, especially the sticks and the Motorhead. Those are super stoked about those. Then on my way home, I stopped at one of the local shops that's by the baseball stadium. And it's funny, I was just looking at this online. So when I did my purge, I ended up getting rid of almost all my Blue Oyster Cult albums. And Blue Oyster Cult is one of my favorite bands of all time. All of my records were just, they were just all beat. I played them nonstop. I loved all of them. I mean, the jackets were beat up. They were used when I got them. So I've slowly been replacing. And actually, I've replaced most of them with audiophile pressings. I might do a video just talking about the different pressings that I've been buying, because there's been some really killer recent Blue Oyster Cult represses, especially from Speaker's Corner. But this is one that only got repressed on MOV, and I've almost bought it online a few times, and it was always in the mid 30s, and for some reason they had it for 18 bucks. But Agents of Fortune, I love this album. All the little marks that are on it right here, it's actually on the plastic. It's not on the record itself. So super happy to have this back on the collection. This will get 5 or 6 spins before it goes back in. And then I just, Newberry Comics, just throwing this out there, is doing a limited pressing of like 300. I believe it's Agents of Fortune Live. It's a new release. But again, I got this for 18 bucks. Killer price. And then last but not least, man, I couldn't believe this when I walked in and saw it. I couldn't believe the price that was on it, because they usually go for right around twice what I paid in this condition. And I paid up for this. But I have never seen one before in a store. And when I have seen them on sale online, like I said, they're crazy money. And they're going up every day now that people are getting real hardcore into collecting Mobile Fidelity. But this is Led Zeppelin 2. I believe this is the only Led Zeppelin that Mobile Fidelity is pressed. I'm not 100% sure on that. There's a little discoloration here, in here, and there's a seam split. You can't really see it, I don't think. There's a seam split right here, which looking online is, I mean, the seam splits on MoFis, especially the 80s ones, is super common. This part of the jacket is thin paper. It just thins out. But overall, it's in really good condition. And the vinyl, I would say VG++, only because there's a couple of scratches on it. I'll see if I can show them. There's one that looks really bad that you can't hear at all. I don't know if you can see that one. This thing sounds fantastic. Previously, I would have said that the recent represses of the Led Zeppelin albums from, what was it, 2014 or 15? Maybe it was 2006, whatever. The ones from a few years ago when they did the deluxe editions, I had always said that those are the best sounding Led Zeppelins I've ever heard. This thing is amazing. If it doesn't sound better, it's right there. I bought this thinking worst case, because what happens with MoFi is there's been a number of MoFi presses that I've bought, used ones from the 80s, especially the early 80s, where they look mint, and then you play them, they're super loud. Even after 3 or 4 passes, I don't know if you can see my record cleaning machine right there. Even after 3 or 4 passes through the cleaning machine, it doesn't clean them up. And so for instance, my Beatles, Abbey Road, I think I've bought 3 copies of that before I finally got the most recent copy that's dead quiet. And the good thing about MoFi is I usually find them for decent prices. This one, like I said, I paid up, but I still paid well under half of the, or right at half of the going rate, I guess. But the nice thing is when you buy them, you can usually sell them for a little bit of a profit. So even though it took me 3 purchases to get the Abbey Road that I wanted, the first 2 I got for good deals and ended up selling them and making 20 or 30 bucks. And then the third one I got for a really good deal as well. So, and I just got a feeler out from one of my local stores, or a message from one of my local stores that he's got the Pink Floyd. So I'm going to go check that one out. Hopefully I can get a copy of that too. He said it's got a little ring wear on the cover, but otherwise the vinyl's mint. Anyway, this thing sounds fantastic. I've already given this 3 or 4 spins. This will definitely be staying in the collection. But like I said, what I was getting at is I figured even at the price that I bought it for, as long as it sounded halfway decent, I could have at least made half, I could have at least made $100 on this, if not more, if I decided not to keep it. But this will definitely be staying in the collection. So that's it, guys. Again, that wasn't at the record show. That one in the Blue Oyster Cult was at my local record store. I also picked up a couple singles, and I'll be doing a singles video. I don't know if I showed it. I had stacks of singles on my desk right here with a bunch of CDs too. Just stuff that I've bought over the last couple years that I hadn't gotten around to cleaning and spinning. And I've spent like the last 3 weeks just going through trying to get, again, I'm trying to get everything in order here and trying to get caught up. So I've been spinning singles like crazy. That's it, guys, though. I'll see you soon. I hope everybody's doing good. Have a good weekend and subscribe. See you soon. Later.